Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
The great Robert Alvarez is joining us today. Chemda, the psychic witch to the stars himself.
Oof. Like last time we saw him was 12 years ago. It took that long to book him. That's how busy he is with stars.
Let me mention this first. Today is Wednesday. That means we meet our buddies in chat today. Join us tonight and every Wednesday at keithandthegirl.com/chat. All right. So you'll be there tonight, I assume. If you want. Oh, yeah, chime in, turn on your camera, leave your camera off, either way. Also, we started a new poker club. So if you played before, the score has evened. Join us again or for the first time for free in the new club. See if you qualify for the next Keith and the Girl Poker Tournament Championship. But again, if you're not into poker, you just want to hang out with people, that's fine too. All the info is going to be there along with me, Chemda Xerxes, tonight and every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time at keithandthegirl.com/chat. Here's a little comment I woke up to this morning. Can't wait with Robert Alvarez. His past appearances are amongst the episodes I re-listened to time and time again. It's been way too long. What's higher than a silver dragon? Has Keith evolved his spiritual self? So many questions need answering. I'm so excited. Party emoji, party emoji. Everybody's creaming themselves. ISNY, yay, the psychic witch is here. Central Notions, I'm so excited to hear this. I can't wait. Yes, woo, I love hearing from classic guests. It's been a minute. I look forward to it. I would kill my parents to talk to him. He's the best. It goes on, and this is very exciting. But first, I want to mention this. The Monk Pack. What am I talking about? I'm going to explain this to you, a new sponsor. Healthy snacks have a bad reputation, right? They taste like dung. They don't fill you up. They certainly don't satisfy your cravings. But we're sponsored now by Monk Pack, M-U-N-K Pack. And it makes snacks that taste like your favorite sugary treats, but with 1 gram of sugar or less. Yes. Remember how you were going to be in this pandemic and you're like, I'm going to come out healthy and different? Well, the good news is the pandemic's back and you get a second chance. Don't blow it. Monk Pack Keto Granola Bars contain just 1 gram of sugar, 2 to 3 grams of net carbs. They're only 140 calories. Gluten-free, grain-free, plant-based, non-GMO, no soy, trans fats, sugar alcohols. I know you're like, are there sugar alcohols? No. Not even artificial colors. They're great for anyone living a keto lifestyle, but also the perfect snack for anyone who's trying to eat better or cut back on sugar, carbs. But you don't want to sacrifice taste. Okay? Let me tell you some flavors. Coconut cocoa chip, peanut butter, blueberry, almond vanilla. Perfect for a quick breakfast, a snack between Zoom calls, a late night treat. They taste incredible. Here's what you do. Try it for yourself and see if I'm full of shit. That's their tagline. We have a special deal for you. Get 20% off your first purchase of any Monk Pack product by visiting monkpack.com and enter the code KATG at checkout. Monk Pack is so confident in their product. It's backed with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you don't like it for any reason, boom, they'll exchange the product or refund it, whatever you like.
Keith, have you heard of HALT, hungry, angry, lonely, tired?
Yes.
If you're in HALT, you will I'm speaking to myself. I will treat someone more poorly than I want to.
Yes.
Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. And now I think Xerxes is getting the hang of it. And I start getting a little irritable. Maybe you pass me a salad, maybe a little monk box, and then go, are you better? Yes, because there's a thing that happens when you're hungry, angry, lonely, tired. So it's good that I keep a pack of snacks in my purse, on me, and never be so hungry, angry, lonely, and tired that I'm responding poorly.
Yeah. You don't want to end up like, okay, I'm not HALT anymore, but I'm a big fat pig. No, that's where these come in. That's the point of the Monk Pack. To get started, go to monkpack, monkpack.com, select any product, then enter the code KTG at checkout, save 20%, okay? Delicious, nutritious food that you can count on. There you go. Now, as if the day can't get any better than that information. It can. The first time Robert Alvarez was on the show was back in 2007, April of 2007.
Wow. It felt like at that point we were so deep into podcasting, we had been doing it forever.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd been doing it for about 2 years at the time.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
We're like, we got the psychic to the stars.
Yeah.
Well, let's remember where we came from and let's check in. I know I've been having some struggles here and again over the last couple of years. If I said, hey, you might know somebody that can warn you a little bit, that wouldn't have been the worst thing I could have done for my life. Robert Alvarez, how you doing?
I am happy and I am very thrilled to be back.
Good.
Can
Robert,
I say
yes.
you look better than ever?
Thank you.
What is going on?
Honestly, I'm no longer a bitter bitch.
Oh, wow.
How so? Like, how were you before compared to now?
He was in halt.
I was a bitter bitch. I mean, that's the God's honest truth. I was a very angry person. I felt very frustrated. I've always loved being a professional reader. I've always loved that. I've always enjoyed that. It's something that has always made me happy. I'm very passionate about it. But what I noticed was that I was doing all these things for other people, not an issue. I loved that. I still do love that. But I just was very frustrated in my professional life. I was very frustrated in my personal life. Hence, equal sign, bitter bitch.
And even with somebody up in the sky, David, him being there on your side, it still didn't help you have an easy life at first.
Not at first. And there are various factors. One
Such
factor
as?
was, well, I was going to tell you.
Oh, please.
The goddess insisted that it was her divine will that I be in a divine romance.
Oh.
And my response to her was always, you know what you need to do? You need to take a nap. And when you wake up from that nap, hopefully you will have gotten over this bullshit about me being in a divine romance. And if you haven't gotten over that bullshit, take another nap and wake up when you do. Fortunately for me, she didn't listen to me. And now I am in the most beautiful, loving, functional, and longest romantic relationships I've ever had.
When you tell at
that
first,
clears your skin.
right?
It clears your skin, right? It does
You're
something.
glowing.
Yes, exactly. I would have guessed either pregnant or in a relationship, and I'm happy that
My!
When you tell now the goddess, she's the one in charge of everything, right?
As far as I'm concerned, yes.
And you can talk to the goddess like that, and like,
I can
you don't
talk-
know what you're talking about.
I'm honest. I've always been honest and direct, and sometimes I'm just blunt.
When you get
and-
into a relationship, do you apologize? Like, who the fuck was I that you made flowers?
You know, being my chronological age, I remember when Love Story came out.
Okay.
And the most classic line from both the novel and the motion picture based on said novel was, love means never having to say you're sorry.
Oh,
yet-
don't tell my boyfriend that.
Okay. and yet, I remember that there have been times in this beautiful romantic relationship where I've said, I'm sorry, or I apologize. I made a mistake. I did this wrong. I handled this incorrectly, what have you. And it must be working because we celebrate our 9th anniversary next month.
Congrats.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
well, you
Thank
can't
you.
question the goddess, right? That was looking back, that was a little ridiculous, right?
Mhm.
No,
It wasn't
does she get
ridiculous. It was honest.
Does she get it wrong sometimes?
Not in my experience.
Wow, this
That's
is what
more
I'm
a
saying.
human thing.
Honestly, I never even considered to tell a goddess that she's in halt.
Well, I
doesn't
don't
occur to
use
me.
that term. You know, I don't. That's like an ultra modern term for me. I never even heard of it until you mentioned it
I give it
during
to
the
you.
Monk Pack commercial. Thank you. But you know, I was just very frustrated about a lot of things, and it's so funny because I still remember one time somebody saying, "You must have an amazing life," and I looked at them like, "What drugs are you taking?" I didn't say that. I just thought that. And he was like, but look at all the things you do for other people. Look at how you volunteer your time. You do this, you do that. You must have an amazing life. And I looked at him like, what are you talking about?
Now, does David, your spiritual, how you doing? Does he nudge you and go, see, asshole? Like, as this is going on? Like, you're talking to me. Most people don't do that. You're welcome.
David and Anthony, my primary psychic guides, do not
Oh,
talk to me
Anthony.
that way. Yes, Anthony.
Now explain this.
He's
to
newer
me.
to me. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, please. This is getting salacious. So Chemda and I.
Only you would call it salacious.
It sounds it. Back in 2007, Chemda and I saw you doing tarot readings, and we said
in a
hi.
cafe in Queens.
In a cafe, said hi, got a reading. We thought you were fascinating, and then had you on Keith and Girl, where we learned about you. We learned about David. He's been around over 10,000 years. Is that correct? If I'm remembering correctly.
I don't remember that, but that makes sense to me.
Okay. Ask him real quick. How old he is?
300,000 years.
Holy
what
shit.
I got in my mind.
Well, I'd get a younger one too. So then time goes by. He was your guy. You had other ones, but he was the main guy. But now it's a couple years ago. Is he not? Because he's getting older. He's 300,000 years old. Is he not showing up all the time? Is he jealous of Anthony? I know they're in the spiritual world, but I can't imagine things are that different.
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
I love the fact that I do not ascribe to that Hispanic male stereotype of being jealous. Okay. I have no reason to be jealous about anything or anyone for that matter. And the fact of the matter is that David remains my primary psychic guide. Okay. He remains a constant presence. There are times when I'm not thinking about him because I'm just focused on other things, whether it's household chores, whether it's an energy healing treatment for a client, whatever it is. And I'm just like, okay, but I feel his presence and I know that he's there.
I always worried that there was going to be some kind of trouble because you would say when you're taking a piss or masturbating, of course, he turns his head, he's respectful like that. But at the same time, it always seems like one-sided. Does he ever go, hey, Robert? Yeah, or do you even ever go, hey, Dave, let's just talk. Let's just do clear space on the couch. Or is it only for work or, something personal about your life? Did you ever hang out with him nicely? No agenda.
Like, are there only big messages of a change in life, or do you sit on the couch and watch Netflix? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yeah.
We actually do have a non-professional relationship. I have this look on my face. I don't see it because I'm not really looking at the webcam, but I feel it on my face. I've never been asked these questions. I love these questions. I find them intriguing, but they're making they're making me think, which I love. And I love that when anybody makes me think. There have been times when I've been doing the most mundane things, like walking to the grocery store or walking to the supermarket or running an errand or actually going to meet with a client in their home or whatever the case is. And I will strike up a chat with him. And it could be about anything. I may have a concern about a situation, or I may have a concern about if it's the right time to move ahead in a certain project. So it's not just a work thing. I never even considered that actually, because I know that David and all of my psychic guides are an integral part of my life, professionally, personally, spiritually, magically. So I don't even think about compartmentalizing them, if that makes any sense.
Now, this guy, Anthony, he comes around. David doesn't go, who the fuck is this? You're not getting all the answers you need?
No.
Okay.
How
do you find out when there's a new guy in town?
I imagine that David helps bring you to Anthony, introduces you possibly.
Actually, it was my personal psychic advisor, Roger Pratt, who mentioned Anthony in one of the readings he did for me a few years ago.
I was close because I feel like, I have some of this ability, right?
Oh, I've always known you to be highly intuitive. That's never changed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I feel seen.
Yeah. Artists are naturally clairvoyant, and you are definitely an artist. Don't give it to Keith
like that. I mean, he just...
He also, when he gives to everybody. It's
yeah.
Actually, I will tell you that over the last several years, I have learned just how intuitive and just how spiritually connected people born under the sun sign Aries are.
That's me.
I know. I remember.
Yeah. Let me just fill in some things about you to people real quick that are new to this. Let's see. We covered that. David, 350,000 years old. That was news to me. So I have to
300,000.
Me as well.
350, over 300,000 years old. Yeah, he looks great, right? You don't see him still, right? You don't physically see him. Is that correct or not correct? Did that change?
Sometimes I get a glimpse of what he looked like or what he could look like. I think that he makes it easier for me to have this human connection by appearing in a physical form. But I don't think that he's ever been in a physical form.
Okay. Does it happen when it rains, a la Daredevil, that you could see him?
I actually never watched that show. It's on my to-watch list, but I have been watching.
I'm referring to the movie, but I'm sure it's in the show as well. Just
okay.
Just for people surprised that I even knew that reference.
Out of all movies, they're just surprised it's not Daredevil. Do all people have guides? Like we just can't get them? Really? Like, isn't this a motherfucker if you're a guide and you're assigned to a pedophile? Wouldn't that be like the worst?
Not necessarily.
Or did you probably do something bad and you're punished?
Let's say for the sake of argument that this spirit guide is assigned to this pedophile as a way of encouraging the pedophile to stop engaging in pedophilia.
Right.
This is again speculation. And I say this.
I hope it's not the opposite.
No. I say this with the utmost of sensitivity because in my life, I have met people who were molested when they were younger. And I know people that were molested when they were younger. I know people who were raped as well. So I say this with the utmost of sensitivity. I do believe that every person walking on planet Earth has spirit guides. Some people do not believe they deserve them. Some people do not believe they exist. Some people repeatedly ignore them. So there are so many different variables. But I
just knocked on my door.
Did he just fucking knock?
No.
Oh, come on, give it to me.
There are people in the apartment directly above mine that have been making a lot of noise.
Are there?
Yes, there are.
What floor are you on? I wonder. Oh, boy.
The 6th floor, for the record. No, but seriously, the people that live directly above me have been making a lot of noise on several occasions, and I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Oh, can you send your guide to them? Like, would David be able to go up, talk to their guides, and sort of work it out for you, or does it doesn't work that way?
I've actually said that to clients as well. Spirit guides are wonderful intercessors, and they can absolutely do that.
They could talk to each other. Like, it's not like bad form, like two psychiatrists talking about
not at all.
The husband and wife.
I've often described my readings as spirit guides are talking to the client's spirit guides, and whatever the spirit guides of the client, whatever the client continually ignores, the client's spirit guides tell my spirit guides, and then tell me, and then I tell the client, oh, by the way, you're acting like a fool.
Right.
Oh, okay. So you fill in. Yes, that makes sense.
Now, when you do tarot readings, obviously you charge. You have to make a living. Do you charge extra for a guide to talk to another guide meeting, like to even set that up? That comes with it. That's up to the heavens. Don't for lack of a better word.
Sure.
Right. Okay. Let's see. You were raised Catholic, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Remind me what made you drop that? When did you start going, this is silly, I'm going into the fun one?
It wasn't even silly for me. It was just like, I wasn't a practicing Catholic. I was a Catholic in name only. And for me, that just had no integrity.
Right. I remember thinking in church, I'm like, if this is real, me not caring is what's offensive. That's the way I
had to comment on that.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Okay, you're right. I do not have
to. That's right. When you walk down the street, speaking of these superhero movies, do you hear like so many thoughts and it's exhausting, or do you have to focus on a person?
I have successfully managed to refrain from hearing the thoughts of other people.
Okay.
Because I actually had an incident with that a few years ago. In fact, it was before I met my life partner. I remember one night I went to bed. I remember it was early, because to me, if I'm going to bed before midnight, I must be exhausted. So I remember it was around 10 p.m. I was in bed, and all of a sudden I heard all of these people talking, and I'm like, these fucking bitches. How inconsiderate are they? I know it's an apartment building, but come on, be considerate. Right. Some people actually do wake up in the morning. And then I listened, and the next few nights, it was like, they are so loud. And then I realized, it took me a while. Mm-hmm. I'll admit it. Sometimes I'm slow in the uptake. Not always, but sometimes. I realized I was hearing everybody's thoughts. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, I'm not going to sleep. So I just prayed and I'm like, you know what? I don't think I can handle this right now.
Is it because there were so
I
many?
appreciate-
Like, if there was just one, would you then eavesdrop? Like, you're stealing my packages. But there's so many, it's just torture.
I live in an apartment building with 55 other apartments.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
So, and every floor has 6 or 7 apartments. So it was too much for me to handle at the time.
Right.
Can I ask you, this in modern times, doctors are handing out a lot of pills and people are being diagnosed a lot more than they used to with mental whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you said this to a doctor? Are you scared to say this to a doctor? Because don't we have pills to get rid of these actual... Like, I would think that a doctor would think you might be schizophrenic and try to put you on medication. Has anyone diagnosed that, or are you scared to say it in front of medical professionals because they might diagnose you with one of these things?
They will. Obviously.
Over time, right. I've learned, and first of all, I have an enormous amount of respect for people who work in the medical industry. I don't have that much respect for the medical industry itself, but for people who work in the medical industry, I have a huge amount of respect, especially nurses. That's number one. Number two, over the years, I have learned not to say certain things, but that's primarily because I have a vivid imagination. I've watched motion pictures that have a conspiracy theory. I watch sci-fi, I read sci-fi novels. So, and I usually, the character who says, yes, I'm seeing this entity, I'm seeing this thing, they're usually looked at like, this is a possible lab rat. So I've learned not to say certain things to certain people. I don't believe in being confrontational. I have a history of being confrontational, but I've learned over the years that it's not worth it. And I've learned how to choose my battles carefully. I do not feel comfortable even with the thought of walking up to a medical, in this case, a mental health practitioner, like let's say a psychiatrist, and saying, XYZ. I just don't feel comfortable doing that. And maybe it's a chronological thing, maybe it's a maturity thing, maybe it's a whatever thing, but that just seems very, like, I don't feel led to do that, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. And I like that you differentiated between mental health professionals and the system that they are in as well. So do you think that people who have been diagnosed with bipolar, schizophrenia, are really just trying to listen to guides and don't know how to manage them like you do? Because sometimes, the guided voices are telling you to do such extreme things that they're illegal, not you, that they become illegal and against our own, mental health. Does that run into anything?
Well, first of all, I've learned both the easy way and the hard way.
It is interesting timing, by the way.
Well, it is, right? Okay, thank you. Okay.
We didn't notice, David. Anyway, Robert, please continue.
Okay, so first of all, that is not as spooky as y'all are making it out to seem. That's
no,
but
for the record, Robert has not moved when this happened. In fact, every time he sits as still as possible.
Like we won't know. We're going to think it's us.
Okay, so for the record.
So the relationship's going good, I see.
It is. The irony is my life partner is actually at his desk over here. So he can hear everything that I'm saying. I can't wait for him to hear everything that y'all are saying.
Sure.
Because it's going to be hysterical. But for the record, that was not as woo-woo as some of you think it is. That was just my online grocery delivery arriving here.
That's how it arrives?
They throw it through the window?
No, they didn't throw it through the window. Come on. I'm not gonna repeat that.
Okay, focus.
Okay, so for the record, as wonderful as that question is,
can we do the dishes later at least? All right, go ahead, Robert.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I forgot how funny Keith is. I'm serious. Okay, number one. Chemda, that is a fantastic question. And one of these days I will learn how to pronounce your name correctly. Not today, obviously, but I digress.
You're closer.
Number two, there are
David gets it right, so I'm okay.
Right.
Yes. There are a lot of variables to that question. And because I am not a mental health professional, it would be inappropriate for me to comment on that. And everybody's different. For the record, when I was younger, I was diagnosed with schizophrenia. I was given medication and I was prescribed medication. And then one day I had a bad reaction to one of the medications. And my grandmother insisted, like, you're not going to take that medication ever again. I said, okay. I was not going to argue with Abuelita.
Did the meds affect any of the guides that you had? Did you have
guides at that time or not really know what you were saying?
I don't remember, number one. And number two, I wasn't as psychically developed then as I am now.
Interesting. So what is, I'm sorry, is that Brussels sprouts or green beans that I'm hearing?
It's my life partner not being careful with the packages. That's what you're hearing.
Okay, thank you.
He's opening the packages.
He's opening it right on your desk.
They're hearing it on the thing. So
what's he gonna do? He has to put them away somehow. Is he eating them all as he's taking them out?
No, he's not eating them all.
Okay.
You know, he's making more noise than I would prefer. He is going to stop doing that, right? Right. Yes. Perfect. Okay.
He just used the psychic eyes.
No, I did not.
Okay.
If anything, I used the voice, but I didn't mean to use the voice.
Could you talk to David and like have David like walk him out of the room or something? You know, like a breeze. All right.
I don't need to do that.
Okay. All right.
And I would rather he take care of that so that I can have my undivided attention on all of you.
Of course. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What were you saying, Chemda? So you got the pills, but you don't remember if you saw the guides.
I don't think I was. Well, no, I know that I was not as psychically developed then as I am now.
Okay.
I don't recall having an experience that was necessarily connected to my psychic guides. The only experience that I remember from that time actually was I was getting ready to go on a job interview. And even though I've never been a parent, I just had that advice in my mind, pee first. So I went to the bathroom, and normally when I use the bathroom, even if I'm by myself, I close the door. So all of a sudden I saw a shadow and I felt a chill and I said, San Lázaro, is that you? Because I remember praying to St. Lazarus prior to getting ready to leave for my job interview.
Okay.
And that was that. That was the only thing that I remembered at that time. I don't remember having a relationship with my psychic guides when I was a teenager.
Speaking of movies, when you would see something like The Conjuring, does David pop in and be like, "This is bullshit"?
No.
Or did they get it right?
It
upsets you, right? These horror movies
it doesn't upset me. It doesn't upset me.
But
I'm just remembering meeting this guy on an app, and he was chatting with me one day, and he said to me, you know, I wish I could go to the movies. And I said, you know what? I'll go to the movies with you. That was my first mistake. My first mistake was not asking, which movie do you want to go see?
Right.
And then he said The Conjuring, and I was like, no.
Right.
So for the record, I don't have anything against scary movies. I actually do enjoy watching them. But my thing about watching a horror flick is it has to be bright as the ass sunlight at noon on an incredibly sunny, there is no fucking cloud in the sky day. And otherwise, I am not going to watch a scary movie. And if I'm watching a scary movie, truth be told, I would rather have the apartment all to myself. I don't want anybody here.
Is it scary because you know more than the average person, or
it's
just
scary because it's scary and it's going to scare the crap out of me? That's why. So yeah, I don't like when my life partner's here. I will not watch anything like The Conjuring or anything like that. No.
Right. Okay.
They got it really right, by the way.
Oh, they did good.
Oh, they got it really right.
Oh my goodness. Would you be a movie consultant?
I want to watch it now.
You want to know something? I would love to be a witch on the payroll. I see these products every once in a while. I'm like, they've got a witch on the payroll. I want to be a witch on the payroll. So I would love that. I would be honored to be that, to have that opportunity. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it's okay. But yes, it would be very exciting if somebody just called me one day and said, you know what, we've heard about you and we would love for you to be a consultant on our TV series, on our motion picture. I would love that. That would blow my mind.
When they try to say these Warren movies are true stories, would that bother with your integrity?
It depends on the situation. I could not do something that was out of integrity.
Okay.
I just couldn't. I love sleeping at night. I love looking at myself in the mirror.
Right.
It's a thing with me.
Okay. Let's see. Just to recap some things people might not know. You've taken 9.5 inches. I don't know if it's been more since then. And you pack nothing to sneeze at 6.5. Let's see. Congrats. You are what's your astrological sign, for the record?
My sun sign is Capricorn.
Capricorn. Rising Leo is what
Correct.
I would gather, right? Yeah, that makes sense to me.
It does.
A lot of pentacles in your life. Some people might know them as coins. Would you say?
Well, keep in mind that I primarily read tarot, so there are so many ways that I can answer that. I would say that yes, there are a lot of pentacles in my life. I actually do. I finally have 1 or 2 pentacle pendants. I almost never wear them because usually anything that I wear is astrological in nature. Like right now, the sun is in Cancer. I don't know if you can see it, but it is a pendant that I only wear when the sun is in Cancer.
Sweet.
It's sterling silver, and it has 2 silver gray moonstones.
Does it ever burn your skin or something? You're like, I didn't check the calendar. It's the wrong season.
No.
Okay.
It doesn't do that.
Okay, that's good. I mentioned that we have our OMAC club, of course, the 1 minute at a time thing for your mental health that Chemda puts together. We meet, every weekday morning. And I said, Robert's going to be on. And it seems like everybody's into tarot nowadays. They were excited to see you, but they started taking out their tarot decks. Is this something with the pandemic or just over years and years it's becoming more?
It's definitely become more mainstream. I've even noticed, one of my favorite places to visit is Philadelphia. And just 2 weeks ago, I did a search on Google Maps. And I was like, let me see what metaphysical stores they have. And the selection of metaphysical stores in the Philadelphia area has increased considerably since the last time that I went. Although for the record, the last time that I went was last August. But I didn't look up any metaphysical stores then. But the last time that I went before last year was 4 years ago. And there weren't anywhere near as many metaphysical stores then as there are now.
Funnily enough, it's sort of like Starbucks. So if you have a Starbucks in your neighborhood and it just moved in, it wasn't very Starbucksy neighborhood before, you're probably going to get a metaphysical store shortly after. You're also going to get a pet grooming, possibly.
That's funny because there are 2 places that fall under those respective categories in Beacon, New York, which is one of the places where I give readings. So it's funny you mention that because it is literally.
Is it funny, Robert? Or do I just know?
You just know.
Right? You're there. You see,
I've been to Beacon. That's a quaint little town, right? The store over from you has, juicy fruit gum and, all this way back stuff, right?
Actually, it's funny because it does look and feel like a town. Yeah. But according to the official Wikipedia entry for Beacon, New York, and according to Beacon's official website, it is a city.
Okay. I don't know.
Very sweet.
When
Stars Hollow is also a city, right?
Right. So people showed me their tarot decks, and one person was bragging that their deck had gilded edges, and they showed it to me, and it looked gold on that. Is that hacky?
No.
Okay.
It's actually traditional.
Okay.
Gilded edges is part of the history of tarot because there was a time when only royalty had tarot decks because only royalty could afford tarot decks.
Keith,
and they always had gilded
edges.
Edges.
Is this what happens when you judge? You're incorrect.
I didn't know. I didn't know if what would the goddesses cards be? You know what I mean? It's almost like what chalice was used in Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark or whatever this is. Is it like a card deck? You're like, where do you get that card deck? A 5 and dime, or is it something fancy with jewels? I don't know. What do you have over there, Robert?
I have in front of me 2 tarot decks, 2 oracle card decks, which are structured differently, and a set of runes.
Oh, have you ever played Pokemon?
No.
Okay, all right.
Have you ever played poker?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you good?
No.
Okay. Would you like to play on Wednesday nights?
I will happily observe.
Okay.
I will happily observe because, that's the best contribution I can make.
Can you whisper the right answers to me somehow? I got it. No, we're good. I'm winning tonight. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
could
you.
you?
Don't bother coming to tonight's poker game. I'm going to win.
Would it be hard to
I already
not
have plans
cheat?
this evening, but okay.
Well, another time, maybe not. Because would David, tell you like, hey, they have a full house, and you're like, shut up, David. I'm trying to be a person.
Actually, that's the reason why I never auditioned for Jeopardy. I always felt that it would give me an unfair advantage.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I thought about it because I love trivia, but I was just like, no.
These guys just can't shut up. They're like, I'm excited too,
Well, there is an actual psychic ability called claircognizance, which is clear knowing. And it's like
Is that adjacent to listening?
Clairaudience is clear listening. Claircognizance is clear knowing, where somebody just automatically knows the answer to a question, even though they've never read it before. So I was always worried that I would have these moments of claircognizance constantly if I was on Jeopardy. So I felt it was better not to audition.
You know what? When we play silent trailers, people pretend they have that, but really they're just reading the chat for the right answers. Now we know.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you pass a psychic on the street, is it just blaring at you sometimes like charlatan? Are those easy to spot without even thinking about it?
Honestly, I live in a city. So my focus is, let me not get run over by a car. Let me not get mugged. Let me make sure that I'm walking not too fast, but not too slow. So that's my focus.
Okay.
And I'm one of those I'm very logical in a lot of ways. So when I'm, let's say, running errands, I'm like, okay, I'm starting at point A, I'm going to point B, then I'm going to go from point B to point C, then from point C to point D, then I'm going back home. So I don't even focus on who's around me. I mean, if I need to be forewarned that somebody's going to harm me, my psychic guides will absolutely make sure that I know that, even if it means all of a sudden I'm taking a different route. So
what neighborhood are you in right now, if it's okay to say?
Of course. I live in Union City, New Jersey. It's about 10 minutes away from Midtown Manhattan.
Okay. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and they hear things from the TV, and they can hear like an actor was a bad person to people, like the TV's telling them shit. And then they said, but it turns out, instead of wondering if I'm crazy, I'm always proven right. And I'm like, what's an example? Well, then I turned the TV on. The TV verified that I was correct. Did the angels and demons, do they work that way through the TV?
I haven't watched TV since last year.
So who knows what they're up to now, right?
I no, seriously, I watch everything online.
Okay.
The last time that I watched TV,
I assumed the person meant online too. I didn't really think about it though.
Okay. But I remember I'm a very literal person. So It was The Honeymooners New Year's Blowout. Okay. That's the last thing that I watched on live TV.
Who's the guy from The Honeymooners? Jackie Gleason. Has
Rob
Jackie
Cramden,
Gleason, yes. has he ever, you're listening to the lines that he's saying. Have you been able to get messages from him that he's not telling the rest of us? Like you can read his mind as it's happening. You hear like, oh, I'm so drunk. Like, oh, I'm going to actually hit this bitch. Like that kind of stuff while we're seeing other things.
Never happened to me, actually.
All right. I hate to, I don't even want to say dating, but I was seeing this woman, we're having sex, and you
would hate to say dating.
It wasn't that lovely, but I stop over, she was a witch. She saw her, her dresser. She left her room, came back. It's moved 2 inches over with floor marks there. She's the only one, et cetera, et cetera. And she tells all these stories. And I didn't know you as a weaker person, and I didn't believe any of it. And she said how she could read my mind. And so as we were fucking one time, I'm screaming in my head, I don't believe you're a witch. If you were, you'd be able to feel this. And she could still have an orgasm. What does that mean?
Maybe that's what she wants.
Yeah, like she doesn't mind it. Like, did she have to not mind it? Like, this is a little insulting, but I'll just close my eyes and think somebody else is yelling through their head. Like Tom Cruise's head.
Maybe she liked being yelled at. You finally got her there.
Oh, okay. I think it'd be something you'd have to talk about after, but okay. You think, okay. Nobody wanted to talk, I guess. So, okay. All right. Haven't solved it. Could be the real deal. All right.
Robert, am I close? I don't mean to answer for you. Oh, he's got a finger to the mouth. What is this?
I have nothing to. I have nothing to say. I can feel the blush all over my face. So
Yeah.
I have nothing to say.
She could be real, and they might have a point. I'd like to ask you some more things, Robert, but this is important. First, of course, are you centered right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. Very good. All right. So I wrote down some questions. Maybe you can help Chemda and myself get going. This is a crazy world. Am I right or wrong? It's too much. What is going on with the pandemic? Whether you want to throw out first of all, what's a rune? I saw online you might bring out the runes. What does that mean?
So runes are a form of Norse divination. There are these runes can be made of anything. They can be made of clay. They can be made of wood. They can be carved into crystals. The ones that I'm using are small pieces of amethyst, and they have different runes carved. Well, I don't know the term, but I would say painted on or carved on. But and one fell on the floor. Of course it did.
Do you have to burn the floor like if communion fell on it?
No.
Okay, you guys burn the floor when communion falls? When the Jews' Bible falls down or anything with the word God in it, when they pick it up, they have to kiss it before they put it away.
That's traditional, actually. Yeah. So this is Berkana. It's also known as birch. Okay. It's a bee. And the crystal is amethyst.
Okay. So it looks like one of those extra-sided die, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to quickly pick up the crystal that fell.
Please.
Or the rune that fell.
Kiss it, please.
I'll tell you what, you kiss it. Now, so they're like little crystals or dice. I follow. All right. So you kiss it and make peace with it. Let me read an ad real quick.
Okay.
BetterHelp 2021. Mental health is finally a thing. So many people are struggling right now and aren't feeling like their normal selves. Therapy helps. And it doesn't have to be sitting around just talking about your feelings. What is therapy exactly? It's whatever you want it to be. You can privately talk to somebody if you feel like you're not doing well with stress, or if you're having relationship issues, this kind of thing. Whatever you need, stop being ashamed of normal human. This guy, Robert, talks to angels, and he was having a time. You might be having a time too, okay? So join the millions of people who are seeing what therapy is really about. See if it's for you, because you are your greatest asset. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/KATG. That's BetterHelp.com/KATG. And I have no problem saying their name. Chemda's a big fan. We get letters from people thanking them for bettering their life. So
yeah, and really, if you're dating or interacting with anyone, you are probably having a better time with people who are in therapy, who want to get to know themselves, who have other people to talk to. You do not want to put that pressure on one person like your partner or one person like your coworker. It will be too much. Get that second, third, or outside perspective from BetterHelp.com. Use code KATG so you can get the discount.
And if you're into some otherworldly help, let me ask Robert this. When did you get your first reading where you're like, this is what I got to get into?
I don't remember, but it was more than 30 years ago.
Okay. And you're like, these were too dead on that this has to be real.
It didn't even occur to me that it would be false, truth be told. But I do want to say something about, as somebody that's been back in therapy for the first time in more than 25 years, I am an absolute advocate for therapy, and it does work. I found that my experience with therapy since 2 years ago is so much better than it was when I was younger. I will say that.
Okay. What's the main thing on your mind? Do you mind me asking? What do you have to deal with the therapist?
Oh, he was an angry bitch?
No. I was a bitter bitch. I was a bitter bitch. There's a difference. No, it's actually, it's something that I, believe it or not, do not feel comfortable discussing.
Sure, of course.
Only because I promised myself that I would not share it publicly on social media. There are friends who know, there are close friends who know, my life partner knows. But I will say that there were challenges that I was experiencing after that particular incident. And I found that therapy helped. And I was happy that the therapy was covered by my insurance.
Right.
And I was happy that I found a really great therapist, and I love her energy. She's really wonderful. So therapy does work, and it can be whatever the client needs it to be.
Are there special therapists for psychics so that they can be honest that they
If there are, I don't know any of them.
Okay. All right.
But
okay.
I would imagine that there are therapists that have specialties, like something along those lines.
Sure. All right, so I'm going to ask you some questions. You let me know however you want to play it. Whether I say work it, I don't say play. It's not a fucking game.
That's
whether
fine.
You want to use the tarot cards or you want to use the runes.
Well, I'm going to look at the rune that fell on the floor, and it's the rune of signals.
Oh.
And it's funny because since
we use those.
Really?
Yeah, signals, right? Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Duh. Took me a moment. So for the record, since June of last year, I have felt that there was more of a need for therapy, for energy healing treatments, for self-care. And one of the things that I constantly said last year was, it is a shame that it took COVID-19 to prove to the masses the sheer importance of self-care. Mm-hmm. I've been an advocate for self-care for more than a decade. So I was like, okay, now everybody's getting into self-care. It's like, where you been? It helps.
You only know what you know when you know it.
You're right.
Or a scientist tells you. Right. True. What do we have? What's going on with this pandemic? Will we ever be out of it? Will we be half-assed in masks for decades?
Intuitively, what I feel is that
I don't care about that. Ask David.
That's part of the intuitive part.
Okay.
It's like connection,
Oh, okay. Signals.
So yes, exactly. Intuitively, one of the things that I've felt time and again is that there needs to be a whole lot more cooperation.
Okay.
In other words, if people keep politicizing the use of face masks, if people feel like they want to pay attention to disinformation, if people are not united in, let's be mindful of our fellow person, our fellow country person.
Yeah. Can you close that? Can you close that window? Is that easy to do?
The window has a fan in it, so I'm going to say.
Oh, okay. All right. I like it. It's kind of exciting.
Window open, I think.
Okay.
All Keith, you can choose what to pay attention to.
That's true. Is there any end date on the horizon in Anthony or David's view of the pandemic?
I'm not hearing an end date.
Shit.
I am feeling that the lack of cooperation is what is one of the biggest obstacles. And I've been seeing that. So it's not even just an intuitive thing. I mean, I was recently made aware of cases of COVID-19 and beginning to increase after the 4th of July. Yeah. And to be perfectly blunt, my response was, why am I not surprised? Because I knew instinctively that because certain people were not following guidelines and people acting like this doesn't exist, it's a hoax, it's over, that's what's going to do it.
I got to say, Keith's guides have been telling him similar thing, I think.
Yeah, that's how you, but anybody having doubts out there, this is how you prove if he's the real deal or not.
Not to mention the fact that I keep seeing articles, whether I want to or not, about somebody who was an anti-vaxxer or somebody who was like, it's all a hoax, it's a government conspiracy, dying of COVID-19.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just
somebody in the previous presidential administration who was a huge, this doesn't exist, it's a hoax, actually died of COVID-19. Yeah. I haven't even read the article yet.
Right.
Why do that?
Well, you get the point. It's not going to say jinx in it. You know what I mean? The person was an asshole liar and they're dead.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a headline you can read, I think. Could you give us a little tarot reading on what's going on with Israel and Palestine? And do both places exist?
Well, of course they exist.
I would think so.
They're on the map.
I would say.
But I will
have some old school maps.
Yeah.
Okay, so just for people who are not watching this necessarily, although it will be on our YouTube page, he kissed the deck. He's now looking through them. We don't get to see the cards, but he's going to describe them.
Correct.
By the way, as you're doing that, this is a true story. Laura, this person showed us her a deck. This is absolutely true. Her deck for the tower. What does the tower mean, by the way? In general,
I look at it as the Rude Awakening card.
Well, it really was, because her tower was the Twin Towers on fire. I'm not joking. What
is this, a special New York deck? What is that?
Yeah, what is that? Is that appropriate, Robert?
I would say it's appropriate solely from the perspective of the artist. The artist has the right to express themselves how they see fit. I know that there are New York City themed tarot decks where one can easily put the tower card as the Twin Towers.
Oh my goodness. I feel like they should warn you on the box in the special 9/11 tower card.
But that is a warning card, right?
Actually, this is something that I don't share publicly for soon to be obvious reasons. So years ago, I had a friend who's a professional reader, and his habit was every night before he would go to bed, he would ask the tarot, what can I expect tomorrow? So for the tomorrow, he pulled the tower card.
Oh.
For the record, he did this on Monday, September 10th, 2001, for Tuesday, September 11th, 2001.
Stop it.
No.
Holy shit.
Stop it.
This is the reason why I don't say this publicly. I've never said this publicly ever since he told me this. And he told me
you're
this
gonna get
more
your
than
friend
10
in
years
trouble.
ago.
Wow.
I didn't mention his name.
Right.
So, but that's something that he experienced. Now, again, as somebody with a vivid imagination and as somebody that's watched plenty of sci-fi movies and thrillers, I've seen what always happens to the person that says, we got to go to the police, we got to go to the FBI and let them know this is going to happen.
Sure.
It never turns out well for the person saying, you need to stop this.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, your deck of cards. Yeah, you gave us a lot to think about. Thanks.
You know what? That's so interesting. I've pictured going back in time and before the towers, and we're coming up on a 20-year anniversary. It's weird to call it anniversary.
It is. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but I picture myself going like, hey, I don't know how to anonymously or somehow, because yes, Chemda Khalili is telling us that some folks are going to come destroy our tower. They happen to look like her cousins, but that has nothing to do with what she knows in general. So I thought maybe I'll go back in time and switch something else. Deal with this Hitler baby.
If you could make that happen, that would be interesting.
All right, so
I happen to love time travel movies too. It never turns out well.
Okay, so what are we looking at that with the tarot deck when it comes to Israel versus Palestine?
So I pulled 3 cards. I pulled the Judgment card. I pulled the 8 of Swords.
I'm sorry, 1 second. Let me explain what Chemda was doing. Chemda was doing the ka thing, but she's done it so often, Zoom thinks it's music, and so they mute her immediately. So anyway, that's what was happening. Please, Robert, continue.
No, that's fine. So it's the Judgment card, the 8 of Swords, and the 6 of Pentacles. So there is going to be a major, and I want to say final decision with regards to Israel and Palestine. I'm not even going to say versus Palestine, but Israel and Palestine are going to have, and I'm reluctant to say this, but it's,
if you're getting it, you're getting it.
No, one of the things that I've learned over the years is that there are spirits that will compel me to say something, and if I don't say it, I won't be able to say anything else.
Hold on. The spirit's going to say something, it won't give you more information, or you literally won't be able to talk?
I literally won't be able to talk.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, it's a trade-off.
Do you get nervous about that?
Nervous? No. Uncomfortable sometimes.
Why? Because they're like, you want me to be heard? Well, make sure I'm heard.
That's what their position is, yes.
Wow. That's heavy. I don't know if I'd still do it.
Not everybody can.
It's almost like that. I mean, yeah, it's almost like that movie Liar Liar, where it's like, you gotta call this person an asshole. And I'm like, that wouldn't have been a lie, Jim Carrey. You didn't have to do it. But anyway, you got to do what the demon says. Or is it a demon, or just it could be a nice one too, right? It's
Spirit guide, psychic guide, deity.
Sounds like bad, but okay.
It's not bad. I also need to keep in mind that there are people that are going to misconstrue even the simplest of words. So the fact of the matter is that that's just how it is. It's like,
Okay.
they need to make sure that I do not edit the message.
Okay. All right.
So they're going to make sure by doing that.
Here it is, unedited. Israel totally not versus Palestine.
If now this would be, I wouldn't do this. I want you to know, because it'd be so cruel. But if I just exited the Zoom room right now, you wouldn't be able to talk.
No, I'd be able to talk.
You'd have to text me. You'd be like, please let me go on Zoom just in private at least. I can't talk.
And now Israel totally not versus Palestine.
There's going to be a final decision that needs to be made. And the thing that I'm hearing my spirit guide saying about this is that there is a divine orchestration involved in the final whatever regarding Israel and Palestine.
So there is a plan going down.
It's something divinely orchestrated. And yes, you could say that it's a plan. I don't feel that it's a government conspiracy. It could be. I'm not getting that intuitively, but it's something heavy.
Is it border? It's border related, I'd have to assume, right?
Looking at the other two cards, it definitely involves military equipment, and it definitely involves money.
Wow, it started with swords, That couldn't,
well,
that was gonna be trouble. Yeah.
And
And cups, I think. Yeah.
Pentacles,
Will my
actually.
parents be okay? They live in one of those places.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say something else. That's a very vague question. So what do you really want to know about your parents?
You know
Well,
what?
they
Nothing.
love me.
I would call them if I wanted to know. Forget it. I'm not wasting.
Okay.
Skills. And here's another heavy one for you before we get into more frivolity. Britney Spears. Will she be under her own
Freed.
power, and should she? Because, they're not locking you up. What are we doing? You know what I mean?
I feel like
Okay,
that
we
laugh
all-
also came from David. That was a hearty laugh.
Yes.
Is David
no,
laughing?
That came totally from me. David's
Damn
not
it.
laughing.
Oh.
David doesn't laugh.
So he does laugh, but here's
Okay.
the thing. I am so since my first appearance on Keith and the Girl, I have only followed and only follow a grand total of maybe 7 or 8 celebrities on social media.
Okay.
Beyonce, every individual member of Pentatonics,
Sure.
individually and collectively, and Todrick Hall.
Okay.
And that's it. Like, so when it comes to Britney Spears, other than her music, I have no interest in her life. That doesn't mean that I want her to die or anything like that. It just means that I'm not celebrity minded. I can't tell you how many times I've been in the presence of a celebrity and I'll turn to somebody and say, that person looks like this person. And they'll be like, Robert, it is that person. I've had that experience with too many celebrities.
But can the cards tell us if Britney will be freed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Those
3 of Pentacles. So
Three
I
of
have a feeling.
Pentacles. Hot soup.
I'm going to say that yes, it looks like she's going to have more autonomy over her finances, more autonomy over her body, more autonomy over the things that comprise her physical life.
Mm-hmm.
Her animals, if she has animal companions, her body, her schedule, her regimen, her home, her assets, etc.
All right.
Okay. Now, things that affect us personally. My girlfriend, and she's all on board for me asking you this, so there's no worries. She was born July 3rd.
So
She's
her
a
sun sign is
Cancer.
Cancer. Yes.
Yeah, Cancer, which we all know. What are the ones that sabotage themselves, Robert? Taurus, Capricorn, Scorpio, and who?
Capricorn.
Cancer and Capricorn.
Oh, you said it. You said it out of order.
Yeah.
Taurus, Cancer, Scorpio, and Capricorn. They are the signs that have the greatest trust issues. And let me quote my words correctly. If
Please
that's okay.
do. Yeah, you may.
They are the ones that are masters of complicating their lives, but within them is also the seed to simplify and create ease and effortlessness in all areas of their lives.
Why do they sabotage themselves?
That's a lot longer of a question to answer than we have time.
I hear you. All right. If you can talk to her, though. That'd be
So what do you want to ask about your Cancer sort of girlfriend?
How's it going? How's it going to be going in the future? Right now, we're happy. We have three. She has three teenagers, so I have three stepkids. It's been going, I think, 3 to 4 years now.
They're not married. He just
we're not married.
lovingly calls them the stepkids.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't got to do too much. Is this going to be going on for a while?
So I'm using a goddess-themed oracle card deck.
Thank you.
She'd appreciate that.
What'd you
the
get?
Greek goddess of love and beauty and sensual pleasure.
Oh,
so I'm going to say yes. It looks like it's going in the right direction.
Okay, good. That's good. How do we get, I don't know if it does house the cards, but how do we get this 18-year-old out of the fucking house? We're thinking flying him down to Florida. He came back. He's not welcome at his real dad's house, it seems. And now we can't get him out of this house, mom's house. So we're thinking of flying him down for a wedding and leaving him there. Would that turn out okay? Can you ask the cards, please?
I'm going to ask, well, first of all, the answer that came into my mind that came from David, and that did make me laugh.
I like David better than Anthony. Is that okay to say? But just because I knew him longer. Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
So the answer to that question is $3 million.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It looks, he's going to be living there for a long time. Okay.
It's going to take $3 million to get an 18-year-old out of the house.
To get that 18-year-old out of the house.
Ooh, he's doing something right.
Yeah. To have him killed?
No, just if you want him like no longer living in that residence, that's what it's going to take.
3 million. So how about we move for 2.5 million?
That's not the answer I got, but if that's what works better for you, then that's fine.
All right, we are going to start a Kickstarter.
You're gonna need all of them. GoFundMe, Kickfinder, whatever they got out there. Holy Christ! In my daughter's journal, or my stepdaughter's journal or diary, when she first met me some years ago, she wrote in it that she doesn't like the new boyfriend and is going to put bleach all over his face. Now she has since said that she likes me and apologizes for any bad behavior. Should I be scared, however?
I don't get the sense that you need to be scared of her.
Okay, good. That doesn't even need a card. Good. Okay.
No.
Okay. Good. Okay. All right.
Let's keep in mind that, even though it's been a while, I remember being a teenager and I remember saying things and writing things in my journal that were just very intense at the time.
Right.
So, but I can honestly say that I've never thrown bleach at anybody. And I think that you are safe from her being around laundry detergent and other laundry products.
Yeah. Because when was the last time she did the laundry when her mother asked?
Right. So,
the mother didn't ask.
Yeah, she doesn't know where the bleach is. Right. Okay. So I only have to worry about financial ruin so far with this family. Okay. No problem. Me and my girlfriend do not practice safe sex. We're both in our upper 40s.
Okay.
Okay. I come 7 times a day regardless, and we're of a certain age. Will I accidentally have a baby?
I don't think that she wants another one.
She does.
And
is she lying? Why is she lying?
I'm getting just totally intuitively.
All right.
I don't sense
she wouldn't mind one.
Just
to be clear, she wouldn't mind one. But I'm like, we're not having one. She knows we're not having one.
And my sense is that your girlfriend is very self-aware, so she knows that since neither one of you, since she knows that since you're not using condoms, it's her responsibility to make sure that a pregnancy does not come forth.
Correct.
If she doesn't want a pregnancy.
Right.
So you're saying she might accidentally have an abortion, but maybe not accidentally have a child.
No, what I'm saying is that she intuitively, I strongly sense that she does not want to have another child, number one.
Okay.
And number two, she knows that since Keith is not using a condom when he has sex with her, she's going to take it upon herself to make sure that she does not become pregnant.
How do you do that?
Wasn't there something called a pill?
Oh, okay. I see. So you're predicting a pill situation on her end.
I thought she was already using it, but okay.
No.
I think that's what he means by unprotected.
But then again, this wouldn't be the first time that I've sensed something that was in place even before it was in place. So it's quite possible that she could move in that direction.
She's already pregnant. Oh my God. Keith, are you jizzing up inside?
No, he's saying she's sneaking the pill. I follow what you're saying, right?
I didn't say that.
Yeah, see?
You know that I'm very exacting and precise in my words, Keith. You of all people know that.
Me of all
How-
people.
Chemda knows that because she doesn't usually do the tricks that you try to do.
Keith, how unprotected are you staying in at the end?
I said not safe sex.
Are you rhythm something?
Yeah, I rhythm fast, I rhythm slow, I rhythm quick, rhythm half speed.
Oh my God. So she
Yeah.
could get pregnant.
No, because again, I'm busy. Like Robert described heaven, right? And it's whatever you like to do the most, which bummed me out because I don't want to be jacking off in front of a computer for the rest of eternity. But yes, I don't think there's anything swimming around the way I throw it out, like it's nothing.
Keith, I'm going to say that that's not what you love the most.
No, it's not. It's the butt. But I'm saying what I do the most.
That's not the same thing.
Right. No, it's not. It's quite different.
And I can hear somebody saying it's semantics, Robert, so I'm going to shut up.
No. Tell that person they're right.
Do dogs have spirits watching them, or is it just people?
I believe that animals have angels too.
Okay, like beavers.
I don't know of a beaver personally, but I'm going to say yes.
Okay. Let's get to Chemda. She had a tumor removed some years ago. Of course, 5 pounds. Okay. Never looked better after it. But does she have to worry about this tumor coming back?
Full disclosure, as a medical intuitive, I suck.
Mm.
I have never sensed a disease or a condition in any person. There are only 2 people on planet Earth walking right now, well, excuse me, 3, that they're always unhealthy and well in my consciousness. Chemda is not one of them. I'm actually surprised that Chemda had a tumor, and
Me
I would
too.
have never known.
Me too. For 18 years,
Yeah.
I didn't. For over 20 years. Okay, then can you say when my next fall will be? I fall
When's the
down.
next time she'll fall?
When's the next time I'm
Like
visiting? the
literally fall on the
hospital?
floor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's a mess. She's a mess. It could be bike riding. It could be walking like a person should be. When's the next time she'll fall down?
I actually don't want to know that because that makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm like, you know, because I know people that sometimes when I'm walking with them, they almost fall, and it always like freaks me the fuck out. So
If you knew the date, or not or if you know about when she's going to fall and she's extra careful and doesn't fall, does Final Destination chase after her?
Oh no.
Okay,
Let's
so
not
it'd
go
be
down
good-
that path.
So we can help her.
Let's
by
not go down that
saying
path
about.
because you know that's one of the movies that freaks me out the most.
Oh, because that shit could happen.
I didn't say that. What
Okay.
I'm saying is that as somebody that has this love-loathe relationship with horror movies, that's one of the ones that freaks me out the most. And yet, ironically, I will be watching it the next time I have the apartment all to myself, and it's like
Sure.
bright as a halogen lamp outside.
Right.
So yes,
So we can't tell you, Chemda. Sorry.
Okay, so you can't tell me. Okay, how about this? We started filming my bike rides. Will we or will we not catch my next fall on the GoPro?
I don't need a
You
fucking
will.
psychic to tell me that. No shit. Yeah,
You
we'll
will.
see that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair. I have another question. I'm in a relationship right now. His birthday is January 12th. We just celebrated his half birthday. It was a lot of fun.
I'm sorry. I keep looking at the screen, and your third eye has a color on it.
Holy shit.
Ooh, my parents always wanted a kid with color in their eye.
No, it's the third eye where the brow chakra is, where the third eye
Yeah.
chakra. It's green, and I'm looking at it like it's not a reflection. It's actually there. I don't see auras, so for me to see something is a big deal.
Look at that.
What do you think that is?
Is it Jew
Well-
stuff?
No,
Okay.
I don't know enough about Judaism to say yay or
don't
nay
either.
about that.
Right.
What I do know is that it's green, so it's a healing color. So I feel like you probably are not going to need to worry about falling anytime soon.
Hmm.
Oh, because she can see like a little better than all of us, or
Should
It
I get
protects
closer
her.
to the camera?
I've always felt that Chemda is very intuitive. I've always gotten that sense of her.
Mhm.
It's right there. Like it's
Goddamn.
still the same shape and everything.
it looks like a regular eye, or is it like a light?
No, it looks like a slightly skewed oval, actually.
And it's right, but it's right on her forehead, like we would think.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
here.
Okay. Look at this,
Wow.
Chemda. Do you ever get stuff in it, Chemda?
No, like morning stuff, but that's
Right. That's
I know.
normal. Right.
Don't
Crust
be
in your three
weird.
eyes.
Come on.
You know, I have a saying, Robert. I don't know if you've ever heard this. Close both eyes to see with the other eye.
No, I don't remember you ever saying that, but I love that expression.
Oh, all right. Well, have you ever heard it?
No.
Really? It's on your Instagram. Okay.
Oh,
Today's Today's date is 7/21/21.
Okay.
Does that mean any fucking thing?
Not to me, and only
Okay.
because when I calculate the date, I use all the digits.
Okay.
So
2021.
7 plus 20 plus 1 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1 equals 15.
15. Today's
So
Yeah, but
the
1 plus
vibration-
5, but 1 plus 5 is 6 then.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I can do both. I can
My third eye
interpret
is
it
open.
as a single digit number, as a compound number.
Okay.
Okay.
So if people are planning what to do today, keep in mind 15 or 6.
Yes.
Okay.
And
good.
specifically 15. It's funny because I tend to interpret the number 15 numerologically from a biblical perspective, and the number 6 from the Chaldean Hebrew Kabbalah system of numerology. So
Mhm.
15 is about eliminating bondage to one's fears and to one's fears. And 6 is about love, money, and creativity.
Nice. Bondage. You guys do that? You do kink play and stuff like that?
I'm
He's
gonna
not
answer
even
that
looking at
question.
Can
I'm not
the
gonna
card
answer that
tell me?
question.
You have to tell me what it says.
If you must know,
Yeah.
you must know,
Mhm.
I happen to be in an open relationship.
Hello.
And now here's what I need to make clear to everybody, because
Yeah.
not everybody realizes this. I do not have a harem.
Okay.
Because I still remember chatting with somebody on an app, and he was like, "Oh, come on, you have a harem."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, if I had a fucking harem, don't you think I'd know about it? I didn't say that to the guy. I was just thinking
Right.
that. But here's the thing. You know, it's the
Also,
first
he
time.
was just flirting with you. You know that,
Yeah.
right?
No, he wasn't just flirting.
Come
with
on,
me.
you're a
He
supermodel.
wanted to have sex with me.
Sure.
And then, but that's another story.
I think he
And
was
not
giving
even
you
one
harem
worth
ideas.
telling.
Okay.
I think that's the whole story. But anyways.
So I love the fact that I am in an open relationship. I love the fact that it's mutually agreed upon. I tell my life partner everything. My life partner tells me everything. In my personal sexual life, I do have an affinity with BDSM,
Nice.
and specifically domination and submissive. And by the way, I'm the dominator.
Does David or Anthony show up to those?
Mm.
If they do, I'm not aware of it at the time.
You never hear him like giggle for a second?
No.
Okay.
Do you have a whip?
No, because if I had a whip, I would use it.
Mm.
What the
Should
fuck does that
we-
mean? And
Are
I
you
can't
start-
be trusted.
It means that if I had a whip, I would use it.
Ooh, now your partner knows what to get you for not Christmas.
Oh, no. He does not ascribe to my role play.
Yes.
Okay.
He's the
He has other interests that happen not to interest me, but I support that he
I
enjoys
see.
them.
Okay, so you dominate people with this kind of stuff. Other people, not your life partner.
Right.
Okay, that's really nice.
My
because
life
then
partner
you
is
can
my
get
equal.
it out. All right.
Yes.
Oh, you never dominate him because he's on the same plane.
you have to
Well,
respect
he's-
him.
It's natural for me to take control and be dominant, but I know that with my life partner, that's not going to fly.
Is
We didn't.
is your partner down with your spirits? Is it?
He's a fellow witch, so yes.
Oh, okay. Is that how you met?
We met through an app called Growler, which is an app for bears and their admirers.
Okay.
Mm. I like that name, Growler.
And then how
Yes.
that? And you guys wrote on the app like, "Hey, I happen to be a witch," or that came out later coincidentally.
It actually came out later, not coincidentally. We were talking on the phone. I think it was the first time or second time we were talking on the phone.
Hey, what you
Oh,
doing?
and one of your
Witching?
spirits interrupted you and said, "Hold on, I got to talk to David. Who's that? Who's that?" Like that. Damn it.
Come
Didn't
down.
happen like that.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
My spirit guides give me a lot of autonomy. So, it's just like there are times when it's like, you need to say this,
Right.
and that's it. And there are times when it's like, do whatever you want.
Were you nervous to say it?
No, I wasn't actually. I felt
Okay.
extremely comfortable with him. As a matter of fact, I remember the day that I first saw his profile, I was giving readings at a psychic and healing fair in Manhattan. And when he got back to me to reply to my initial message, I said to him, I would love to chat with you more, but I'm about to start giving readings for the day. Can we chat later? And he said, yes.
Would you ever have to stop yourself from asking the spirits what your lover is up to? For example, he's like, oh, where was I so long? The grocery store. Really? Because you just put Fresh Direct in this afternoon. You know what? Let me check. Hey, David, real quick.
We don't have that kind of relationship.
Okay. Because if you even wonder, then it must be bad. Yeah, that's good. Okay.
We tell each other everything. We literally tell each other everything.
Excellent.
Now, I have to stop myself from saying certain things because it's 3:00 in the morning and he's sleeping. And it's like, you know, I really do need to stop myself sometimes. Like, okay, Robert, I know you want to tell your life partner everything, but it's 3:00 in the fucking morning. He's sleeping. You're not. You can tell him about this guy after he wakes up at a reasonable amount of time. Right. I've had these conversations with myself. Seriously.
Now, what about we never answered my last question. If it's okay to go back,
of course.
I'm with someone. Birthday is January 12th.
Capricorn. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Okay. We have enthusiasm. I would like to know
another self-sabotager, but go on.
No, that's Cancer.
There's a list.
I never said self-sabotaging. I never said that.
Right. They only fuck up their lives deliberately. Cancer, Taurus, Capricorn, and Scorpio.
Sorry. Yes, you're right.
Yes.
Is this a good match, Robert Alvarez? Do you remember my birthday, by the way?
I remember you're a Sagittarius, but I don't remember what your birthday is.
December 2nd.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to say yes, because it's the Four of Pentacles.
Ooh, I got a card.
That's a solid foundation. So I feel that this is a good match for both of you at this time.
Okay.
I say at this time because I know from personal experience that relationships do not last forever. But for right now, you're in a good place.
What's going to be this awesome? I will let him know what's going to be our biggest obstacle in 2021 moving forward, though.
Keith's
babies. That's very interesting because the card that came out is the Ace of Wands.
I swear to God, if that's a feeling
that I have a feeling that whatever the obstacle is or was already occurred. And I would say, given the card, it occurred on or around March 20th of this year.
That's right. But I have my period every month. Hold on.
It wasn't your period, and you know that.
March what? March what?
I'm going to say March 21st just to be on the safe side.
Oh, I got to go back into my calendar, so I'll get back
to you. That's fine.
And I'm sorry, what's going to happen?
The obstacle.
Yes, and I have a feeling that the biggest obstacle that Chemda and her boyfriend had already occurred.
Oh.
You know what? I'm going to write it down and search later. March 21, I'm going to go through my diary and stuff. March 21. Got it. Thank you. Oh, so we're riding free the rest of the month. The rest of the year, excuse me.
Okay, sure.
However you want to look
I didn't know how to answer that. I'm just like
Is it sad for Chemda, or a shame rather, that she got the four of whatever the fucks and I got Aphrodite? Is that too bad?
Is it because I am Aphrodite?
I think you're Aphrodite. Sure, why not?
Yeah, right. Sometimes it's like, why not? Whatever.
But if you really need to have an answer, Keith.
Right. Thank you. No, I know. We got what we got, and I'm sitting here bragging about it.
I'm just remembering. It's so funny because I remember there was this guy that I would always play board games with at a group in Manhattan, and he would every once in a while his sense of humor is very similar to yours, Keith, by the way. And every once in a while he would say something, and I would just have a look on my face. And one day he just looked at me and he's like, you know what? That look on my face means that what I said was really funny. And I looked at him and I was not giving him a very nice look. Right. And I was like, all right, I thought it was funny and you're right, and let it go. So yes. So, you know, there are times when with Keith, it's like, okay, I need to be an adult because Keith is not being an adult.
Thank you.
And well, I will follow up on March 21st on last week on Keith and the Girl. Rod wanted some salacious stuff. Maybe I'll be able to research it for him. Shout out to Rod from the Black Guy Who Tips and Karen as well.
What's the what is if you can ask the cards and the runes, what next big America event or global event is going to happen? Is there something coming up that maybe you already know already? And you're like, you guys are worried about the pandemic, you fucking idiots. Wait for this thing. And anything big like that going to happen, or the pandemic's going to be almost a speck in the wind? No pun.
I'm pulling a card and a rune. 9 of Cups and Strength. Oh, so I feel like, if anything, there's going to be this major shift. I almost want to say it feels political, but I'm not sure. I'm not very politically minded, even in my non-psychic life, although I'm much more politically savvy than I ever thought I would be.
And neither are David or Anthony, right? Nobody's political over there.
I don't know. All I know is that based on this card and rune combination, I think that there is going to be a major event. I feel it's going to be in 2022, but I do not sense that it's going to be something tragic or something pandemic-like. I do feel it's going to be, I want to say, an ocean of calm.
Oh,
because I'm looking at the 9 of Cups, and cups relate to
I just
water.
went to the ocean yesterday after 2 years because of the pandemic. Oh my God. Wow. Did you see my Reddit post? Is that how you know?
I actually don't use Reddit.
No self-respecting witch does.
I don't know about that. There are pagan themed subreddits, but
lots of witches are on Reddit.
Yes, but it just so happens that I don't know. I haven't done the Reddit thing. It's okay. I don't have an issue with it. It's just that it doesn't really draw me.
So the next big thing is going to be some kind of peace with everybody.
And I feel it's going to be in 2022. I was getting that very clearly.
Wow, it's coming up.
It would be very easy for me to say June, July.
Wow.
Wow.
It does. I'm not getting specifics. All I just feel is this wave of calm.
Well,
okay.
Can you do a card? Will a celebrity be behind it?
Will it be Keith?
I'm going to say it's not Keith.
Okay, you didn't even flip, but all right.
What I am going to say is that I pulled a Page of Pentacles. So I would say it's a celebrity who is probably under the age of 35.
Holy shit.
And I want to say an earth sign, either Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. But I'm leaning more towards Virgo. So somebody whose birthday is between August 25th and September 20th.
Oh. See, I'm looking up Britney Spears.
No, that's December 2nd.
No, she's a Sagittarius.
Hello.
Okay.
Oh my God. Can you believe this, Robert? How many years of podcasting?
I've always found it fascinating that in their respective careers, Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera always wore outfits that highlighted their stomachs, even though the part of the body that's ruled by Sagittarius is the hips.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because us as Sagittariuses, we have short legs that come with those hips. So we have very long torsos. It's a lot easier for us to look skinny with our bellies shown. That's my high school thought, and I still hold on to that to this day.
It makes sense to me.
Thank you.
I have one final question. My girlfriend, to go back for a second, she's a gym manager, and she's also a personal trainer, and she works me out. She said, though, I'm perfect as is. We're just doing fine tuning. If you can let me know when the fuck this fine tuning ends, I'd appreciate it. I hear what you're saying loud and clear. I knew it, right? Okay. Anyway, Robert,
no, there is an actual answer, but it's not an intuitive answer. It's a physiological answer.
Yeah, never. Yeah, fucking never. Yeah.
I didn't say that. Okay,
it is never.
Seriously, no, it's not never.
Oh.
As long as you train and until you're lying your last breath, it's whichever one you want.
Oh, okay. Great. Yeah.
I have one last question for you. While Keith stews in the fact that a professional trainer is working him out for free with love. Is there anything that you feel like you should be telling us or warning us or turning a card over for? Anything that, we haven't spoken to you in over a decade. Is there something that we should know or you want to let us know?
And they could work together, David and Anthony.
They usually do.
Okay, good.
So Tyche is the Greek name for Fortuna.
For our new intern. What?
So the Greeks had their respective deities, the Romans had the respective deities, but there is this bit of an overlap. So the ancient Greeks called the god of abundant fortune Tyche. The ancient Romans called her Fortuna or Abundantia.
How do you spell Tyche?
Capital Tyche.
Okay.
Okay.
So one of the things that I got from this card is that there is a period of greater prosperity that is coming. And I feel that it's going to be more pronounced in 2022.
Okay. We can hang out for that long.
What just happened?
We're going to be rich next year.
I didn't say that.
Come on.
Well, I can use $3 million real quick.
I know you can. I know that for sure.
That was the most shocking news of the day. And
There's
going to be world peace next year. And I'm still shocked by this $3 million.
I didn't say world peace.
Wow.
Humanity needs to, as a collective species, humanity needs to get on board with certain ideals to have the manifestation of world peace.
Do you ever have to be careful? Like, is it the psychic coming in, or are you just talking to yourself? Like, the whole world needs to learn to be nicer to Robert Alvarez. I was like, Robert, who told you that?
I used to care more about what people thought about me when I was younger. Sometimes I still do, but it's very few and far between these days.
And it's not going to start with you, Keith.
Right.
And it's not going to start with Keith either. But I will say this. I do feel that there are certain things that if humanity as a species did, would make certain things happen faster, more easily. And I don't think one needs to be psychic to even say that, but I digress.
Okay. All right. And I had you down the over under on how many times you would say digress. 72. You did I think there was only one. Very good. I didn't know. Well, I think it's almost, it's like your catchphrase almost. It's even in your posts. You're like, you say a sentence and you go, but I digress. I'm like, I don't know if that's what it means, but it's fun. I like to hear it.
He deviated.
I can't take credit for it. I think that the person who came up with that expression was Sophia Petrillo, who was a character on the Golden Girls.
Okay.
And I think it just rubbed off on me.
See, I know.
Without even realizing it.
Yeah, I know what's happening. Robert, if people want to get the readings, what's the best way to do it? Do you still have that up-to-date Excite email address?
It's up to date for now, yes. And it is the tarotman@excite.com.
Okay, excellent.
And you also have a YouTube. You have a couple of blogs. On your YouTube, we shared it on our Reddit, your YouTube post about coming on the show. But you have what is this festival that you like? It's not Queer Festival. Why am I forgetting the name?
Is there a festival, Robert? Could you do a card on
Fire
what festival are you going to?
There is an event that opened up for me last year. It's called the Full Moon Magical Night Market.
It was so close, right?
I guess. So, but I actually look forward to returning to that later this year. Essentially, the Full Moon Magical Night Market is a virtual thing, and it's online. Basically, people can either have readings, they can participate in workshops or classes, or they can buy merchandise. So it's a whole combination of things.
That's cool. Can people get in touch with you through Twitter in order to get the readings or get in touch with any questions or anything like that?
Personally, I do not have a problem accepting a DM via Twitter. I would prefer email because I don't spend as much time on Twitter as I used to. And I certainly have no problem with somebody commenting on one of my YouTube videos and saying, I'd love to have a reading. How can we make that happen? So, but if somebody wants to send me a DM via Twitter, they can do that. If they send me a DM via Instagram, they won't be able to do that.
All right. Well, thank you, Robert. Thank you again for your time. I appreciate it. It's good seeing you.
I was happy to be back.
Can I request one more thing? Your partner's right next to you. Can he peek into the camera so we can have a little look-see for when we post it on YouTube?
I would love for him to do that, but he is very much a behind the camera person.
Okay. All right.
But he's very cute, and I think he would look lovely in front of the camera, but you know.
Ask him to peek into the camera, see if that's okay.
Would you be willing to peek into the camera very briefly? He's shaking his head no.
Okay.
I didn't even finish the sentence, so.
He's like, I already.
Sorry, yolks.
Sure. He's saying, I already made my present. What else do we need from him? We got the whole gist. It's fine.
He is a fellow Aries, by the way, so I think you're safe in saying in the accuracy of that, Keith.
Thank you very much, Robert. Goddess bless you,
Thank you to you as well.
and thank you again.